A very good evening. Welcome to Royal Bangalore Food. This is Paul, and you're watching Royal Bangalore Food, the YouTube channel. Uh, this is going to continue about the cloud kitchen. This is the episode 2. Today, we're going to talk about very clearly about the market analysis, how important is research and development to start a wonderful brand in India, starting from here, from this channel, the YouTube Bangalore Royal Food channels. Am I looking okay? Am I audible? So people and folks and friends and families who was watching, I would also, you can go ahead and comment it later. You can visit my other pages. This page is only dedicated to the food aspect of it. We want to talk about the new food. We are sometimes cooking. I did one cooking channel, then I cooking videos, and we also going to talk about food aspects, food quiz. So if you look at my channel, it's just more everything about got to do food. And a fanatic fan of food. Why am I here? For two very important reasons. I want to create a brand which can go all over India in any segment of food, starting from instant food, ready to eat, ready to constitute, RTC, or probably in fact, if it is biryani, my favorite subject, it could be South Indian cuisine, especially from Kerala, or probably it could be an ice cream shop or a plant-based diet, whatever is required. I had experienced my own startup in the industrial kitchen manufacturing, food manufacturing. We were churning out about 40,000 meals per day, catering about around 10,000 plus people. So that's an experience. Then I had run my small restaurants with my colleague working around also in terms of restaurants. So we have learned the tech aspects of it, the logistics, supply chain. That's my forte. Just a moment. I did that. I'm sorry, just a knock of the door and I'm live. All right, so that's about it. And also in terms of my, I did my food science, a little bit of research. So as I said, it's the research and analysis of probably your entire research about what you want to do. So another disclaimer. For me, what I know, what I've learned, what I've done, what I've researched is the statistics says the food brand created all over the world. It is not created by any chef. It is created by a food lover like you and me who was watching, who wants to launch and then take it forward. And they developed a huge billion-dollar businesses. It's about not billion-dollar, even if it is Bangalore, what I know, and Tamil Nadu for a while, is the Empire, is the MTRs, is the your Brahmin's Cafe, and your Adyar Anand Bhavan, your Sarvana Bhavans, and your so these are the brands we have seen. We have grown up. Specifically, our cafe coffee day. Now it is third wave coffee. So there's always and always been a brand building company. And how do we take this forward? What kind of investment is required? So that's the reason this channel is all about. So not wasting further of time, let's jump into this today's topic. It's very clear. It's about market research and analysis. Just to give you and also a hint, what we did the previous session, just to cover a few points. What we did was very clearly we spoke about the definition, the concept of cloud kitchen business, as well as the what do you call the QSR, the quick service restaurant, or so-called the fast foods business. And then we spoke about the advantages at cloud kitchen and also what are the importances of how traditional restaurants works versus cloud kitchen. And then we also slightly understood in terms of Bangalore market size, because I belong to Bangalore, and the YouTube channel is also about Bangalore. So the market size, the potential of it, and how is it growing year on year. We saw most of the stats. So I'm sure if you're not able to watch it, please go watch my first episode about cloud kitchen. What is cloud kitchen very clearly? And today's subject I spoke about is very clearly. It's all about understanding, the cloud kitchen, the episode 2, and the fast food secrets. Right. So we're going to dwell upon it again. It's going to be a lengthy session. Please make some notes. This is straight out of my brain, and I've done some research over a period of time. Last 5 years, I've been researching. It's quite a tough time to go ahead and, I mean, the COVID happened. Then I had to start for my family to go ahead and help. For a year or so, we ran that place. To build a kitchen, it took at least 6, 7 months of time. So it's a huge place. It's a huge investment. I mean, we had the kitchen staff around close to 75, and then we had around service staff of around 90 people. So that's a huge employment ratios. With, Apple was our customer. So I mean, Wistron was a customer who was making Apple iPhone. So it's quite a tedious that we have learned immense. And since I ran the company and I could see what's burning, we just burnt and burnt and burnt. So that's a huge lesson. In a nutshell, it was a failed startup, but it gave me immense pleasure to work around. We were cutting a check of 85 lakhs a month. It is just the operational issues that we couldn't understand, because none could foresee what was the colossal of the kitchen, how important it is, what kind of equipments can actually drive your businesses, how human power will actually kill you. So these are the things which any consultant or anywhere that you would get, you wouldn't get it as long as you experience it. So in case if you're watching this video, I've burned my hands and I've understood this business model in and out very clearly in any aspects of it. Here am I putting across in front of you. And as I said, if you have any more questions, be the pro, be the amateur, I mean, whoever it is, if you want to start a fantastic brand building company, I mean, I had an opportunity to talk about, I was watching a lovely video actually. I mean, you never see that in India, but then it's just because of we are not I mean, we are still a meat eating industry, but the house of ribs in San Francisco, Los Angeles, I mean, just blew my mind up. And there was another company, which is a pizza company, only on Cloud Kitchen. They were sold out for 3 months. It took a while for me to just take a deep breath and understand Cloud Kitchen. It's closed for sales just because they've been sold out for 3 months. Can you just beat this? I'll repeat it again. A Cloud Kitchen model, which is selling pizza, as a core module. They have other two differences as well. But a pizza corner, a very new pizza corner, originated, given birth in the year 2020, post COVID, out of a $300,000 investment. One particular store kickstarted, and they were sold out for 3 months. It's not the company which is being sold out. They have so much of orders that they cannot live up to the expectations, because the owner or that chef there understood that it takes 3 months to fulfill that order. Can you just beat this? I mean, I've never heard such kind of stories in India. And in fact, we're living in a billion population. There's a huge amount of room that you can go ahead and create a food brand which can cater to kids, elder, the adult, the teenage, the college, everybody. So there are various aspects. It's just that we have not thought through for a lot of various reasons. So that's the reason I'm here to talk about it, and I'm so punched to talk about it, to explain it to you how difficult it is to kickstart a brand and run that brand, and through the social media platform. And I'm sure everybody can fulfill this, because it's the social media which drives this particular model. And also over a period of time, I would say next 15, 20 years, it's the video, right? It's also partly because of technology, it's partly because of tech, partly because of the people mindset. Now we exactly know what's happening in certain state, in country, in that particular, what is food is selling, what not selling, who's eating what, the influencers all over, man. Anyway, so the first point I would like to mention is that whoever is going to start a cloud kitchen concept, the first thing is to do is to not to register your company, not to register your domain, not to register your money, you park your money in certain businesses. No, I would tell you, first take 3 months, okay, a good 90 days, to go ahead and conduct, or rather do, your research and development, or your kitchen in house that you want to start. Work on that program, and then go for the first step is about then market research and analysis. I'm talking about even before step, which I could just draw and show it to you. But then what I'm trying to explain is that, we miss this key point. This is the key to success. if we do not and go ahead and research and develop this particular food brand, whatever it is, right? So, I mean, let's talk this case since we are in Bangalore. My favorite subject is about biryani. I mean, you could say sandwich, you could say pizza, you could say South Indian meal or a seafood meal or a dosas or idlis. Biryani is something which is economical. The IP of the recipe need not to be coined. It's already there. It's done and dusted. Just look at US. I mean, why am I saying US? Because that's the sacrosanct of the food industry, which survives and thrives. Also because of the people who come and buy and eat all the time. Because they have beef burgers, they have hamburgers made up of pork and beef together. Then they have chicken. So it goes on. But in India, you can play around with tofu, paneer, mushroom, chicken meat, mutton, lamb. You can play with duck. You can play with so many varieties of meat, which is also available here, and make it as a brand to go ahead and thrive. So, as I said, so let's stick to the biryani. Very clear what biryani needs. Biryani needs exactly four spices. In terms of the whole spices, the rice, the meat, few powders of spices, curd, few leaves, mint and coriander, and the water, and voila, your biryani is done. Whether you cook it in the silver pot or a brass pot or in a wood pot or in a steel pot, it remains the same. Is the fat which gives you the flavor, is the rice which gives you aromatic, the meat remains the same with the protein, and is the aromatic spices will give you, just lifts you up. And then the food science comes into picture. It has the savory, it is spicy, it's pungent, it is meaty, it is texture, it's rice, it's fluffy. It's just divine food. So that's the reason biryani is for me the most favorite subject. So let's stick to biryanis, right? So if you have to do a biryani, as I mentioned, all this point of view. Having said that, the spices which plays the initial game, and before that, it's your pot, it's your whether it's wood fire or a baked, or if it is cooked in a gas oven, or probably if it is in the firewood, also probably. Now these days you have oven, right? The rational oven, the double deck oven. We can actually literally bake. There's a company in Singapore and Malaysia. They do around close to I would say 1,500 biryani packets in a day. That's like in a day on a weekday. I'm talking about, right? They do corporate lunches. It's an event program, so just keep churning. There is no anywhere gas or anything else. It's just the oven which does the cooking, which does the chicken bake or mutton bake. The rice gets cooked up there, all in under time. Everything is measured and pressured, and then cooked. Just ease down, right? So this is what we've understood, right? So what I'm trying to explain is that the research which goes inside to go ahead and make this biryani, it makes immense pleasure to do a lot of research. You have to know what kind of rice will you do, what kind of meat will you procure. Is it because with the fat or with the skin or without the skin, or you'll only use the thigh in case if it's a chicken biryani, or probably if it is only the no, what do you call it, like how Meghna's does the boneless stuff, or probably what kind of masalas you use. Would you do your Hyderabadi style? Would you do a dum pork style? Or would you do Lucknow style, or Calcutta style? Or my favorite, the Kerala style, or Batkali style. I mean, there's every 20 kilometers we have a different biryani in India. That says it all. Whom are you catering to, right? So all these answers through a research and development, you'll be able to go ahead and cater and freeze this as a IP, as an intellectual property of yours. That this is what the rice I would do. This is the meat I would procure, and this exactly the pot I will use and standardize it. Here the keyword, the highest keyword, what we ask in ChatGPT is all about is the keyword here is the standardization. The important aspect is also about hygiene. Once you do an automated pot system in biryani, you try to clear hygiene, wherein there is no necessity of a high paid, high management chefs or a entire management. You can actually eliminate. We can work around with the missionaries and your obviously your skilled labor, which is your dishwasher or your cooking master or CDP level. Anything below your chef level can actually help you, because you have systematically understood how to make a biryani, mutton biryani, which is specifically done and dusted through an ingredients, and you would do it day in and out, day in and out. See, another thing is that when you might ask me questions, Paul, is it because of if I'm let's say if I'm catering 25 kg, do I have to cook 25 kg? No, that's sorry. You need to get the products right first. You need to get the entire measurement of system right. What goes in, what goes out. At least have pool of 5 people, including your family. To, I mean, they might be your lab rats for initial 3 months. I mean, so be it, because you're trying to cater to millions with this food, and then comes your packaging. So many things has to go in under your research and development stage, and then come to your market study and your analysis, that what kind of price points, what kind of packaging. I mean, see, today in India, 90% whatever the D2C brand sells, it's all got to do with the packaging. Okay, so please be very, very strict in terms of your color coding, in terms of your logo branding, in terms of choosing your name. It's those are the times that you have to spend once you're literally confident on your food, that you go ahead and do it. Because I have wrote down the entire business plan is ready with me, and I'm eager to go ahead and get a funding to go ahead and kickstart it. So if you're watching this somewhere, if you're really interested, you can always reach out to me, and then we could probably co-work together. My ambition and intention is to create fantastic brand of biryanis. I mean, as I said, whole lot of products, but to start with biryanis, to cater to the mass market of India, in a very nice level, with the condiments of raita, kebabs, or probably your curries, a little bit of kebabs here and there, which can look colorful. So I'm good at white biryani, the red biryani, the green biryani, the dum puk, the yellow color style from Lucknow style biryani, and we also have chagli mutton biryani. So the mouth just goes watering when you talk about biryani, right? So this is what it does. When your research and development is the first point of key that you have to lock in and do sacrosanct every day, in and out, in and out. For example, if you're having variations in your biryani, there are various quality standards, right? Starting from your water, starting from your rice, what kind of rice, boiled rice, raw rice, steamed rice. It's going to be the long grain, the short grain, the flavor, some aromatic, sticky rice, varieties of rice. Whom are you catering to? You're catering to the diabetic patient, since we are diabetic capital now. Are we catering to the healthy subject? You're going to replace rice with, probably, let's say currently it's going to be millets. So you have to work around something. Whom are you targeting? So that is what market research and analysis. That's the first point. Conducting market research and analysis is crucial to understand your customer, what they want. It's a necessity today that you have to cater to the what customers require. You might have various brands, Rameshwaram Cafe, Empire, so many other brands. But having said that, if you're looking at to create a brand, you have to create a brand what customer wants. Today's content, it's not what you have to say, it's is the user generated content what they want. So it's all over the internet. If you look at it, if you can search great searches, then you'll get to know what kind of answer. And that's exactly the reason I'm also doing this content. So the user which actually requests, or rather looking at internet in terms of what kind of keyword is it required, that somebody like Paul has to do a cloud kitchen concept. Yes, it is, because there is a huge requirement goes on every day. I mean, the market is fluctuating. Everybody has to pile upon and start the food chain. So, what I'm also trying to tell you today, being in Bangalore, a lot of IT boys, women, I mean, specifically the men I've seen, they just have this pile of cash, 5 lakhs, disposable money, which they don't know what to do apart from investment, apart from buying a house, apart from buying a car. Family said they invest on this food kitchen without doing anything. They think in this place, any food will sell and just get on with it. 3 months, maximum 6 months, they burn out, because it's the time that you need to dedicate and depute. As I said, once you do not have the research and development, you skip that first step and then say, okay, I'm just going to launch. I know how to take care, I've done this and I've seen it YouTube. No, the market would never demand your food, that has to sell. Okay, so I mean, recently I happened to see these places. There are 5 stalls which came up all together. So one shop had South Indian, second shop had a Chinese, the third shop had the Punjabi food, and the fourth one had the chip shop. So I was always every day I used to just wait and watch how does it sell. So initially the Chinese food just picked up, rose really well. Then later, out of all this 4 or 5, only the Punjabi restaurant did really well, and they were cracking orders of orders. Now you might ask me whether it's the luck, is the right place, the vastu and signs. It's, god damn it, in food. is the food, is the palate which defines what kind of quality, whether you're doing great or not. What they've done, the Punjabi restaurants, very clearly, they have done the authentic Punjabi vegetarian food freely well by not adding any butter or cream. What you see in the street food, oh gosh, I get the helter skelter watching Facebook videos or Instagram videos where the street vendor just dollops the entire chunk of 200 grams of butter. Sometimes, even if it is half a kilo of butter, that's like 500 grams of fat. And what they do is you just cook anda omelette and they, I mean, it's no offense to them because they don't know the impact of it. I'm sure most of the cooks, or rather the guys who make street food, they don't even taste that food. They think, I know it. So so much of sacrosanct that you have to sacrifice while doing a research and development. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, please hear me out very clearly that doing a market research and analysis is one step before of research and development will define your goal, how far you travel, how far you run your marathon in this food business. That's how you create your brand. Okay, there are various case study that you can look at it from Sarana Bhavan, the way he came up. Dr. Idli, great story for me, okay, because an auto guy who was helping a lady in the street who was transporting only idli batter from here to there to the shop. That was his job because being an auto driver, he needs to do that because that was his living because the lady was paying his daily dues. So one day he said, okay, I mean, if this is the case, if she's able to sell more than 1,000 idlis a day, so why can't I do it? What he did from village, he moved, sold all his auto, came back to Chennai. Then the story very clearly says he innovated the idli in such a way wherein the chief minister of Tamil Nadu had to give a prefix, a knighthood called doctor, and then they certified him saying Dr. Idli. Oh gosh, it's a great case study. I would request everybody to go ahead and watch this story. I mean, amazing story where he was, what he did with that steaming rice idli, what and all he innovated it, how he changed the color, the shape of it, how he inducted kids liking idli because idli in South India it's a no-go breakfast. Okay, it's very dry. Even though we all grow up and say, hey, it's steaming, it's what do you call it? It's healthy, it's great. It's end of the day, it's carbohydrates. So people especially in Tamil Nadu, idli is prone in probably morning and in evening as well. It goes with sambar and chutney all the time. So people literally get choked when they eat, especially kids. They don't like it. Now, this man went ahead and coined and did a lot of research. And he mentions in that interview the amount of time that he spent to make sure to create Dr. Idli is tremendous. Now, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's not about planning and research initially. It's about research and development that you put in your hard and effort for 3 months and then look up that exactly that this is what a coin will do. Because by the time 90 days, you would have had done your trial and error. You would have understood what quality of rice, what quality of meat, what quality of water is required, how will you do it, firewood, the costings. Exactly, you will pin it down to the grammage based recipe. So that's how you end up doing it. Another great social media story is my favorite, whom I follow, is again another chef or a cook who grown up looking at his father, his grandpa, everyone, is Mr. Jabbar Bai's restaurant. Oof. 2 years it took him to go ahead and create YouTube video after YouTube video, only for the sheer passion that he gave away those recipes of half kg, 1 kg, 5 kg, 10 kg, 15 kg, 25 kg, firewood, gas, everything else, to the point that he went and opened a restaurant in Dubai. Great story, a great thing to talk about it, and he created a brand which resembles Chennai biryani to the world of global map. And that's hats off, right? So why does it do it? Because he took a YouTube route to go ahead and do a research and development, understood all his skill set coming into this picture to making a right biryani, and he says it's about the rice, it's about the water, it's about the meat, it's about cooking science, at what time you have to saute, how long you have to keep it. So everything is mentioned. So you will study and learn while you do this. It's not when you put up and you burn money with people eating food. So I will come back to the biblical story of Cloud Kitchen. What happens to the staff? How much do they eat? How much do they spend? What do you have to buy? How do you have to contract your vendors? It's a huge story, right? So coming back to the game, not to digress, market research and analysis is basically conducting a market research after your research and development, making sure that you have a business plan in tune with what customers have asked for, making sure that you address that query, whatever the customers are looking for, and making sure that you identify a whole lot of gaps. Today, as I speak, I would mention there are four brands in Bangalore which are doing extremely great. The first brand is Money's Biryani. The second is purely cloud kitchen concept, but just not a dine-in, purely cloud kitchen, takeaway delivery from the physical location, also completely online. The second one is Biryani by Kilo. Great company, funded company, great story. They're doing amazing of biryanis. They have a brand called Behrus. Then the third one is the R&R biryani, which is from the south of Bangalore. They makes the original country, the green masala biryani. And the fourth one is that there is now Saib's Biryani. So many other brands have come. But for me, this top three always stood out because they have done this recce well. Great stories from Mani's Biryani, great story from R&R Biryani. You should have seen the way they've gone ahead and did this sacrosanct. It is a sheer, not a shortcut, it is a sheer blueprint what I'm talking about it. Because the amount of case study that I've read about these guys and see and have tasted this food, it's amazing. Every now and then they've done the packaging right, they've done the branding right, they've done everything right. And they've also making sure that they've utilized the equipments right. Okay, that's about market research and analysis. So as I mentioned, I've also partly touched upon it, identifying target customers and their needs. Let's say if you're starting a biryani joint in Marathili, which is a peak of a tech park, is it really required? People do really watch it? Yes, it is. For heaven's sake, we have this street food called the Ambur biryani. They've literally spoiled that guy's name in Ambur because, I mean, another guy, as I said, they've not had trademark copyrighted their entire brand name. So anybody, chalta hai, firta hai, Ambur biryani, every third or fourth shop in Bangalore is called the Ambur biryani. I mean, oozing off taste, yes, they use bullet rice, same chicken biryani, $90, a good two-piece of mutton chicken, which is worth around, let's say, 70 to 60 grams, maximum 80 grams, one piece. There'll be another smaller piece of 30 to 40 grams. That's how they play around. $90, very loose raita, or the so-called yogurt. There's no curry, just about it. It's not even served in a plate, not even served in anything, just a plastic foil that they give you. On that, they put a dollop of rice, probably around 250 grams, max to max, it's around 300, 350 grams, not more than that. They have ounce that thing and they just put it in your plate and give it to you. So there's no washing. So many things I've eliminated for $90. Great story, but is it what everybody would eat every day? No, right? Because packaging today matters a lot. Where you have to reach. So I have a huge case study done on it for 6 months. If you ask me questions, you can watch this video sometime later. You can always email it to me. To visit the email, you can visit my About Us page. It's called royalbangalorefood@gmail.com. You can go to my Instagram page, _royalbangalorefood.com. I will also leave it up in the description. Please have a look at it. So identifying and target customers, what they want, is very, very, very sacrosanct of importance that you have to address. Understanding whom are you trying to target, whom are you trying to cater. Remember, I mentioned that if you're trying to create a biryani food per se or a cloud kitchen, you have to, your customers are the kids. If you're able to serve a beautiful, aromatic rice, very healthy portion of biryani, not that spicy, not that pungent, it's the great story that you will ever start to make a brand that'll kick off everything that you really want to do. Because if you can cater to make a kid, I would say anything age above 10, 11 years old, I mean, by the time they would have got this umami tantalizing in their palates, right? You would have gone to the fifth taste factor to the sixth one, right? What are the fifth palates? I mean, taste palates. Sour, sweet, spicy, pungent, your umami. And for me, what the sixth one stands it all in one mix. Right? So if you can address all these five taste palettes, nothing like it. This biryani would give you all these five taste palettes. So having said that, you have to identify your target customer orientations, understand what are the pain points. It could be a pricing, it could be a packaging, it could be the logistics problem they have. And probably it could be also the meat, consistent of meat. Today in India, I mean, since I grew up in South India, we keep hearing from our mothers, and I mean, especially my mothers, buy the fresh meat, chop the chicken's head. I want the blood to be oozing. Is it really healthy? Is it the chicken that you will use to make a large kitchen? No, absolutely not. that will create a huge kind of food poisoning system, because salmonella is always present in the live chicken, right? Whole lot of fresh viruses, parasites will remain. I'm not saying that you're going to buy a street chicken which just sold it in a very bad shape. No, I'm also saying that you have to identify your protein in terms of the cuts is concerned, in terms of your serving portion is concerned. Everything matters a lot. So you have to address a lot of pain points. Is it going to be two or three or four pieces? It could be what are the basically what I'm trying to coin is that a unique value proposition has to be coined, put across in your business plan, your pricing, your portion, your packaging, your logistics, how fast will you reach. So again, I'm mentioning in the first episode, I mentioned I I spoke a whole lot of information about the Domino's pizza. That's the revolution of cloud kitchen. My dear folks, if you had to do a lot of case study, forget about the product or the menu is concerned. In terms of the business, the infrastructure, in terms of the tech, they were the first company to go ahead and leverage on technology, the first company to tell you that your pizza is getting done and this will reach you. I mean, everything was done coined by them, by Domino's. So many tech companies have actually utilized the entire UI segment. Then, for example, I'm talking about Swiggy and Zomato as well. So whole lot of recognition, the informations, the parody of setting of completely a rooftop benchmark is the Domino's. So I would appreciate everybody, whoever's going to kickstart on a food brand is per se is concerned. Please read bigger players, Chick-fil-A, Domino's. In India, it's Empire, it's Sarana Bhavan, Anand Adiyar Bhavan. Since we are in South India, recently Rameshwaram Cafe, we had MTR as a great brand. So I mean, if you look at in Mangalore, my favorite brand is the Papa's ice cream parlor, and then this this Gadbad who founded the natural ice cream. So many ice cream parlors in Mangalore. So similarly in South India, we have Kerala, we have a whole lot of brands. Specifically the bakery, the Cochin Bakery, here the Tom's Bakery, whichever field category you are in, please go understand the case study, because you might feel a whole lot of people talking about it on online media. Whomever you want to go meet, please do that first. Create your unique value proposition. That's the second point. And the third point is that I've also mentioned about the various vendors I've spoken is about your competitor analysis. What is the daily sales? What is the output of your kitchen? What kind of price points are you addressing? Let me ask you a question. Is it good, let's say, if your chicken biryani, if you're giving it for 70 rupees or 90 rupees or 150 rupees or 350 rupees, which one would you choose and why? Right? Let's say if Beirut is giving you for 350, maximum 400, for a half a kilo biryani, would you be able to cater to them? So understand all these concepts. So why you always need to churn what's happening from your outside neighbor's door. Only then you'll be able to survive. And once you have done that IP, once you have done your unique value proposition, nobody is going to stop you, provided even if your competitor is trying to slash his pricing down or probably do his innovation on his food, he's not going to scale up, because to build that and run, it's going to take another year or so by the time you're somewhere else, right? So these are the points to remember, to make in a note, making sure that your competition analysis, your unique value proposition, your IP, products, your ingredients, your team, which actually stay by to making sure that you have a very good business plan. The fourth important point is that after once you capture your market research, your customers' data, your competition data, you've identified what kind of customers you want to target and need and cater to their wants. The important point is that put that in the plan called the business plan, laid down in terms of what involves, how long does it take, how does the kitchen looks like, what equipments do you require to make it faster, how will you approach, since we've spoken about cloud kitchen and the fast food, is it really worth to go in cloud kitchen? So do also that analysis, how physical dining space can also be converted into cloud kitchen. It's just a matter of time to have a online website of yours and then cater to the entire modules of logistics and delivery that you can cater to. But having said that, should we do a hub and spoke model? Should we have a master cloud kitchen or a bigger cloud kitchen and then cater to the smaller kitchens in and around? Like there's a huge brand. They came and they just died down and they just buried. There's a company called Pay2. I'm sure nobody have heard of it. As I said, they came with a bang, great investment, great story, but they just went and collapsed. So they had all these points of heating up the food and giving it to you, no chef, with just a dine-in concept. But then the customer felt literally, nobody's handling me. So if you lose your sales boy or a figure, it's just gone because nobody's going to cook for you, right? So empty space, very dull atmosphere. So your lot of things matters. Put that in your business plan. And the important thing is that put your finances in your plan. This I like to touch upon a few important aspects. Before that, anybody else is watching, it's quite a while that we've been talking about it. Okay, let me quench my thirst. So, folks, what I'm trying to here to do is to, if you watch to this deep end, hit that like, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button. It does a world to me. It keeps me motivated to go ahead and get this. And I've been partly wounded because it's for an entrepreneur or a guy who started up and burns his hands. I mean, as I said, you have to, if you need to walk, if you need to run, you need to know how to walk. If you need to walk, you should know how to fall. And if you need to fall, you need to know how to crawl. And if you need to crawl, you need to be born. Right? This is my statement. So if you need to run a marathon, you better practice every day and you better know how to walk. Not the brisk walk, slow walk. You need to know, keep it steady with your two legs and affirmative in terms of your discussions and making sure that everything is back of your mind, which comes out and gives certain priority informations which will really help a lot of a guy who wants to kickstart any business, specifically in the food aspect of it. When you're trying to create a brand, everybody wants to create a brand. What is brand? Nobody has an answer. I know this logo. I have to do this. I mean, people forget that when you say brand, that you have to work around. If you have to just sweat your blood out of it, and suck your bloody time and work out of it, so that it creates that value chain of system that you can go ahead and work around with your plan, and you lay out those plans in your thoughts into your grounds and then grow. You might have severe pain points. You might not have never sleep again. You might have all the problem. You might never even do great. But the best part is that people thought about it, did it well. They've started somewhere, and that's the beauty about it. Only that 1% wakes up and gets it done. So if you're on that 1%, hear me out. Go give that like and follow and subscribe and hit that bell notification, to make sure that we talk about it. And as we speak, so I'm here, as I said, my name is Paul. If you're watching for the first time, please review my other two videos that I've done. And I'm just going to close for the last point is going to be a very clear subject. Is about the cost inputs, also called the financials. After doing market research and analysis, you'll fairly understand what kind of costing you require to put up a kitchen. Uh, where should I tell you from? I mean, ideally, if it is your own spot, I mean, if you're in your own space, not everybody is lucky to have your own space. The first thing is that you should have your own space. So that's when a lot of things might go right for you if you're doing a brand building based food based brand, because it's your own place. You can innovate. For example, there's a huge hue and cry in terms of firewood versus the oven versus the CNG, or so-called the gas cylinder-based oven. I mean, gas, right? So, what do you prefer? So, you would hear 90% people saying firewood, taste factor, but you're polluting, man. Your food has this carbonated, the feeling. It has this burnt feeling. It's great for the palate, but not great for many people. You're hampering the neighbor, and if your own spot, making sure that you have a very good chimney, but still the smoke is coming out, you're just hampering. That's one of the reasons. Second reason is about the carbon effect. So making sure that you cannot serve the food next day. You just still have that burnt smell. You cannot even serve. So understanding that. The third thing is that the wood cost. Where will you procure all the time the similar wood at this current juncture? No ways. I mean, especially in Bangalore, you don't have trees to cut here. It's all plants and trees, but you don't get bigger trees. So there's a huge cost analogy which goes inside to get that wood organized. The third important thing is that the firewood, where would you prepare, right? Just imagine the people who's inhaling that smoke all the time, burning your eyes, not able to see, not able to get the food science aspects of it. There's so much of pros and cons. End of the day, it might taste good, it might sell good, but not for a longer period of time. Okay. When it comes to the oven, which I feel is the best solution, easy, plug in, systematic, on time. Another way, if you're doing a gas base, you need to have somebody to saute. Probably, if you have a very good equipment, which I will suggest you later. If you have any questions, you can look at it. You have an semi-automated machines. It's basically a huge cook or a wok, what we call it as, which has this robotic handle which keeps sauteing, and you can work around with it without a human resource. But then again, your cylinder cost. But then again, your huge vessels, you need a lot of manpower to shift here and there. A lot of work goes into picture, right? So I would ideally suggest, in terms of cost analysis, to put across in your business plan, how much will your kitchen cost, how much will your everything will cost you. So you need to know how much everything works out to you in terms of kitchen costing is concerned, your equipment is concerned, your manpower is concerned. So many things comes into picture. So you have to come to an analysis where you can utilize minimum about close to let's say 1 or 2 lakh or 3 lakh rupees. So everything matters a lot, right? This is very, very important to you to go ahead and do this, put that in your financial plan, and then work around with it. Okay. So a huge point of view. Okay, just to research, just to give you another small bits. First important point, always remember, is your research and development. Is in R&D. If your kitchen, if you're trying to build a brand, put that in your place and work around it, in and out. Convince your friends and families. They will be your lab rats, making sure that you take the feedback, record it, make it again, make it again, make it again. It took 60 odd businesses for the KFC to come up. Chick-fil-A took minimum 1 year to get that Chick-fil-A burger right. So everybody has their own stories. Might as well you create, because today's story, what it sells, you need to have a great story to create a greatest brand in the world. Let's start now for an India. Whoever's watching, please go ahead and appreciate that. Give a pat on the back. Always there's a food in India can grow all the time. Nobody can. A street vendor cannot create a brand. Heaven's sake, they cannot do it. They will not understand technology. They will not understand the food science. So a huge gap that you have to fill. So with that in mind, market research and analysis we covered, identifying target customers and the needs, looking at the pain points, designing the right menu, the right product, importance of needs and preferences they require. What are the competitor analysis in terms of price points, and in terms of their packaging, in terms of their unique value proposition. Then you look at how to develop a business plan. Huge aspect. We'll talk later. I just touched upon it. An important thing is the cost inputs, about financials, how to launch a cloud kitchen, very importantly. So your planning and research, which is a module 2 or an episode 2 we spoke about, it's clear cut that spend time on research and development, get the product right, launch it where you want to do. Thanks, appreciate it. With that in mind, I'm just going to call it off a day. It's around 43 minutes and 9 seconds. This is Paul signing off. Take care, chance. Thank you for sticking by and hear me out. Bye bye.